Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, as usual, before I begin with this lesson, I want to start it off by giving all the glory and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kadash, double honor to the elders and the apostles, great millstone, who I'm taught, and do learn this truth 100% from. Peace and blessings be to all you Akim, Wakim, who are serving Yahweh Shema Shah in sincerity, hoping for mercy, as well as salvation in these latter days, man. To you I say Shalom, and Yahweh Shema Shah Brakathum. It ain't hard for us to identify or pinpoint what the so-called white man's biblical nationality is, man. Alright, it ain't hard for us to identify who Esau, Edom is according to the scriptures. You know, first and foremost, due to prophecy, right? It's prophecy that Esau will be ruling in the latter days and will dwell in the fatness of the earth, right? The dew of heavens, right? He will have control over the skies, and he will also be the hammer of the earth, man. All right, so we know just by the nation who has that exact power, right, given to him, right, that itself is gives us leverage to identify who the so-called white man is according to the scriptures, but also this man's characteristics, right, his spirit, you know, the way that he does things, right, the way the shit that he likes to do, right, it also lets us know who he is according to the Bible, right, and this man has been running from his nationality for centuries, right, which is one of the reasons why the Bible Destruction Group took the Apocrypha out of the, you know, or separated it from the scriptures, because when you go into the book of Maccabees, it'll clearly tell you who the Edomites are. All right, when Jake was under persecution under the Romans, they were called the Edomites in the book of Maccabees. So this is why Esau took the Apocrypha out of the scriptures, all right, because even though, you know, it's clear as day when you go to Genesis 25, Genesis 27, you know, the book of Job 9 and 24, you know, it's clear as day, right, who the biblical Edomites are, right? But even then, you got to have the Wakah Kadash, because that itself is a stumbling block to a lot of people, man. Right? You got niggas out here who say that Esau is the Arab man, which is, I don't even know how do you niggas even come to the conclusion on that. All right, you got niggas who say that the so-called white man is Japheth. You know, a bunch of shit that don't make sense. All right, but it's clear as day, right, to us us that have the spirit. And really, you don't even have to have the spirit to identify who the so-called white man is, because you got other congregations out there, right, that go off on many topics, right, but can point out exactly who Esau Edom is, man. All right, but nonetheless, I got this page pulled up, The Way of Edom, you know, and I'm 9 times out of 10 times out of 10 it's ran by Jake. You know, Jake that know he Jake. And what it originally inspired me to do this lesson was this other video that I got queued up, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go to play it. Cause you Edomites, but y'all foul. You foul as hell. Alright. This Edomite woman supposedly has a shark boyfriend. Alright, matter of fact, let's just go ahead and play it.
Alan was there, and he still loves me so much. My name is Ashley. I live in St. Thomas, and I have a shark boyfriend named Alan. I swear, he is so gorgeous. One big, giant muscle.
Aren't we so cute together?
Yeah.
Alan was there.
Through. Through as hell, man. Right. I seen another video of this, and I'm pretty sure if I search it up, it'll pop up. But this Edomite woman, they got caught. She had got arrested. She was in the police car. Well, she didn't get arrested, but she did get the police called on her because allegedly it was videos found of her doing you know what with her dog, man. Right? And the police was basically telling her, like, you know, we just waiting for your husband to get here. And she was like, wait, so he's gonna find out? You know what I'm saying? Doing wicked shit. You know, which is bestiality according to the scriptures, man. Right, with this damn dog. And this is a known stereotype for these Edomites. Right, see, they can't run from their true nature. That caveman, you know what I'm saying, inhumane, beast-like nature. Right, you can put on a suit, comb your hair to the side, put as much gel in that shit as you want. You know what I'm saying? You could shave your beard off. Right? Your true nature is still gonna come out, man. Alright, that's who you are. You got these Edomites, and I'm gonna play a couple of these, eating raw meat. And this is how they like their steak when they go to restaurants. What's that shit? Medium rare? You know, supposedly. And you got stupid niggas who you know, who had a nerve to go and say, you know, to give me a medium rare steak because it make it more juicy. You niggas just want to be like the so-called white man. Just say it, right? Because you think it's the rich thing to do, all right? Or it points out that you got money or some goofy shit like that. All right, this is how these Edomites like they food, man. You know what I'm saying? Because this goes back to their progenitor, Esau Edom, you know, who sold his birthright for a morsel of meat, some uncooked ass stew, some raw meat, man. All right, this is their nature, and as a matter of fact,
You see the mukbangs and people are like, okay, Alyssa thinks this is not done.
This nigga right here is known for eating bone marrow, and going on a raw meat diet.
Today's dinner: lamb liver, lamb heart, and lamb fat.
Here we are.
This is such an exciting moment for me. Lunch at people ask me if I truly enjoy eating like this raw. I'm a meat-eating animal.
And I've seen videos of that dude. And I've seen videos of that dude eating. I actually got the videos uploaded on my channel, eating raw brains and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fermented brains in jars, and even like rotted shit. You know, the brother even got it posted where they be in who are the only people who does shit like this? Right? Why you think Edomites, it's an activity known as rock climbing. Why the fuck would you want to climb rocks? Alright, their true nature comes out. They can't run away from it, bro. They can sit here and claim to be the Egyptians. They can claim to be us all they want. All right, they can be proud of that damn Roman culture all they want. All right, and even then, like I said, going back to the book of Maccabees, by y'all showing that y'all are proud to be Romans and Greeks, that goes to show you that you motherfuckers are Edomites. All right, you can't run away from it. Eating raw meat, climbing in caves. Look at this shit. I'll bug out if I was in a cave like that. Alright, even the sword. Edomites love talking about guns. And that ain't shit. right? It's videos of Edomites that show off hundreds of weapons. You know, like, why the fuck do you even need that much weapons? You know what I'm saying? Edomites got all type of different, weapons, from handguns to assault rifles to light machine guns, submachine guns, shit that you can't get your hands on. And they get a rush and a thrill out of it, man. All right? You get on YouTube and you can see these Edom, hey, this is their nature, man. All right, and as a matter of fact, we can go ahead and let's go to the book of Genesis 27. Genesis 27 and 28, and it reads, "Therefore Yahweh will give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine." All right, the dew of heaven. This is why this man has control over the air. He has his satellites, all right, his international space station. This man is spraying chemtrails, all right, and he has the fatness of the earth. This is why he's living in the most, beautiful places. All right, what they call the most luxurious places. You got places like Norway, Sweden. Them are some beautiful places. All right, and also have the less pollution, in which this is how this man purposely had that set up. All right, but nonetheless, right, he's living in the most beautiful places. All right, because that was a part of his blessing, that he was gonna have that time to rule, right, in the latter days. All right, but let's jump down to verse 30. Verse 39, and it reads, "And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break the yoke off from thy neck." All right. So this is why you see these Edomites heavily into, these firearms, and these motherfuckers know everything, how to take them apart, everything about the damn gun. You got different ammunitions for it, and it's like this shit is second nature for them. And you can see the difference between them and Jake when they're in the shooting range. All right, they Edomites ain't just stuck there, shooting, slow as hell at no damn targets, man. All right, they shooting at them targets with accuracy. Damn near 100% accuracy, and they moving fast with it. They on the run shooting shit. All right, quick draw like a motherfucker, man. Right, because that's in their spirit, man. Right, this is why the Most High also blessed them with the capability to come up with how to create a nuclear missile, right, a direct energy weapon. And now, although you do have the other nations that do have their hands on that type of technology, that do possess that technology, because after World War II, the Teamanites were split in half. You had America that took a portion, and you had the Russians that took a portion. And of course, through trading, right, through through agreements, the other nations, they've allied with each other, and they've supplied each other with that technology. All right, but the so-called white man was the first to come up with that concept on how to make these things, man, because that's his blessing. I was trying to find, it's been a minute since I went into this chapter. Matter of fact, let's go to the book of Hebrews. This is the book of Hebrews 12 and 6. Or 16, Slaki. And it reads, "Lest there be any profane, or Slaki, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright." All right, this man has sold his birthright over a raw piece of meat. The same shit that you see him, this is why he's into raw meat now. Because that's how his forefather was. Nigga was impatient and shit, where he couldn't even wait till the food got done. You know what I'm saying? Jacob was probably like, damn, you can't wait. He's like, nah, fuck it. I'm too hungry. Can't do it, which is why you got that microwave nature here in the States. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people put their food in the microwave. That's something that the so-called white man do. All right? I know this Edomite woman, she used to put eggs and shit in the microwave. Cook every damn thing in the microwave, man, because that's their nature. They impatient. Like, this is why ain't shit for those people already.
This is Alabama Boss. We're going to be talking grills, by the way. And
man, foul as hell. But it just goes to show you who he is, man. It says, lest there be any, it's like any fornicator or profane person as Esau, which is why this man is sexually immoral, because even when you look up, let's go to that real quick. In the GNT, because it'll say it exactly like that. Let me see. Hebrews 12:16 in the GNT, it says, let no one become immoral or unspiritual like Esau, because this man is the man of carnality. All right, this is why for you Jakes that plan on fighting against this man, all right, the Most High said not to be carnal-minded, because that is death. You know, this is the man of carnality. You know, the scripture also says that he bared not the sword in vain. All right, who for a single meal sold his rights as the older son. And that's not really what I wanted. Let's see. I think it's in the NLT, Salaki. Damn. It's all good. It's one of them translations where it goes into how this man is sexually immoral. Right? You know, they into fucking animals. You know, they got pocket pussies out there. Right? Even porn itself, that shit is wicked. You know what I mean? Who was that ran by? All right, the so-called white man, that shit's ran by Amalek. And the reason that they have that out, all right, the reason that is a thing, right, is because they say that it dishonors, you know what I'm saying, the Hamashiach. All right? You know, for you to even have the click of a button to even type some shit like that, and that shit is wicked. Right, to see another man popping, I don't even want to talk about it. All right, but that shit is wicked. You know what I'm saying? Now you see these Edomites, I think at one point in time, bestiality wasn't even necessarily illegal. All right, I remember information coming out on how, you know, women were marrying their dogs and shit. All right, Edomite women. You had Edomites that was doing shit with fish. All right, they do shit to dogs, man. All right, and like I said, this is a known stereotype for these Edomites. Right, for the so-called white race, if you will. All right, you can't run. You can't run from your biblical nationality, man. All right, and there's a reason why you don't want to come out and tell, because if the so-called JOOS, if they have a biblical nationality, then what's everybody else's biblical nationality? All right. You don't have to go into everybody else's, but there's a reason why they don't want to do that, because then it's going to be well known that you ain't the people of the Most High. All right, it's going to be well known that you're not the people of the Most High, and all the fingers are going to point to you being Esau Edom, man, because you are the only nation that fits that nationality, man. All right. Let's go to the book of Job. 30 and verse 1, it says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Even Job said it. Job said, I won't even let these motherfuckers sleep with my dogs, man. All right, because then they do shit like this. What you mean you got a shark boyfriend? He just one big, huge muscle. All right. This is why the Lord be putting the spirit on these on these beasts to fuck these Edomites up, man. Right? If an Edomite could, the Edomite would try to fuck with a bear. All right? An Edomite would try to fuck with a tiger or something, man. All right? Because that's how sexually immoral and ungodly these motherfuckers are, man. They could put on that Christian front, you know what I'm saying, and all that. The scripture says in the book of I think it's in the book of Habakkuk, that the spirit that is in him is not upright. All right, this man can't learn to be righteous. They can try to they can try to do it all they want. It's not in his nature to do so, man. All right, why you think there's so many Christian pastors out there? These motherfuckers be, you know, messing with little kids on the low. Look at what just came out with the EP files, man. All right, you had some Jakes in there, but it was mostly Edomites, right? The whole island was ran by Edomite, right? Amalekite. And the shit that they was doing was sexually fucking with little children. You know what I'm saying? Toddlers, babies at that, man. All right, this is that man. All right, which is why you see the Edomite woman, they leaving the man. All right. I remember the brother Jeremiah from the Great Millstone Chicago camp. I was watching one of his past lessons he had put out, and he was going into how this Edomite woman that he was fucking with, she was balling up in the corner and shit, talking about how she doesn't want to fuck with Edomite men no more because she's seen, you know what I'm saying, the shit that they've done to little children. Man, you could put the baddest of the baddest woman in front of Edomites and put some little kids right there. Guess what he gonna choose to do? Fuck with them little kids, man. All right, because that's his nature, that caveman-like nature. All right, that's where the term Caucasian comes from. The Caucasus Mountains, because that's where they used to be at prior to the Renaissance era, man. All right, whenever the Roman Empire fell, all right, you had the Holy Roman Empire that rose up, which was, you know, Jakes ruling. All right, you had Jakes in the Byzantine Empire during the Byzantine Empire ruling, you know, during the Dark Ages, and you had them Edomites that was in the caves, pushed up in the caves, man, that lost their way. Right, that curse that fell upon them. When you read in the book of Genesis, it goes into how the serpent was going to be casted upon his belly, which was a confused state of mind, man. Right, this man didn't know how to speak. All right, they was hairy as a bitch. They already hairy now. All right. One of the physical characteristics of them, right, is them being red, man, because that's what Edom means. Edom means red, man. Adawamium, it means red. This is why the Rothschilds, if I ain't mistaken, Rothschilds means red shield. They know who they are, man. All right, because their blood shows forth through their skin. They have no melanin. And now, yes, it ain't all about skin color, because you got chocolate-covered crackers walking around right now. All right, you got crackers that look like them Arabs, man. Them Saudi families, them rich are the rich ones. Them are Edomites, man. All right. But it says, yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want. Matter of fact, let's jump down. It says, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. All right, and this is why you see them doing shit like this.
It's tight, look at that. My head's not even, I can't turn my head. Which way do I want my head?
Like, what could even possess you to even want to get in a tight space like that where you can barely even fit? Man, my mind would be going to shit if I was in a cave like that. Right? Because that's their nature, man. They was over there in the in Caramel, in the mountains of Caramel, living like that, man. All right. It says, among the bushes they braid, under the nettles they would gather together. Right? They were talking like donkeys, man. Right? They ain't have a language. They were talking like literal cavemen. They talking like that, man. Here it is. They try to make themselves to be high and mighty and shit, right? To be better than Jake. You motherfuckers were just in the caves not too long ago, man. Right, walking on all fours. Right, incest. There's a reason why you into incest. They got a whole incest inbred family in the Appalachian Mountains, man. All right, full of Edomites up there that's inbred families, man. Because that's your nature, caveman-like nature. It says they were children of fools, yet children of base men. They were viler than the earth, foul as hell, man. Eating raw meat, right? Eating each other and shit, all right? Butt naked, nasty, hairy than a bitch. You know how Esau be if they don't grow in themselves. They be hairy than a motherfucker. You look at the Edomite arms, just hairy, all right? Let's go to the book of Obadiah. I think I got this is my last one right here. Obadiah 1 and 3, it says, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down on the ground? And that's another point that I want to make too. Why you think wherever Esau's dwelling places is basically a fucking concrete jungle? All right, concrete every damn where, because it basically reminds him of them caves, man. All right, concrete every damn where. See, in our kingdom is gonna be built up with gold, amethyst, opal, you know what I'm saying, sapphire, rubies, selenite, all type of different precious metals, precious stones. Our kingdom ain't gonna look shit like the so-called white man's kingdom. All right, this is a base level kingdom, and even though you got, certain places in the states that do look, because the scripture calls it the glory of the Chaldees' excellency. You got certain places that do look beautiful, right? And to a degree. But man, our kingdom gonna be shitting on this man kingdom. It's concrete every damn where. It's tar everywhere, gravel, right? Houses made out of concrete, bullshit wood, bullshit bricks, right? That's because as he was living in them caves, this is how his kingdom is gonna be. All right, it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. This man has tall ass, 1,000, 1,500 foot skyscrapers and shit. Like, why would you even want to be that high, man? All right, why would you want to be that high above the ground? This is why his house is in the hills, on top of mountains. All right, this man lives in mountains and shit. This is why, as he was living in them tall ass mountains in Caucasia, right, in Russia, this is why he has these big tall ass buildings and shit, the World Trade Centers, the Empire State Building. You know what I'm saying? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? You know what I'm saying? Because at one point in time, nobody could identify who the so-called white man was, man. Right? But now the Lord has the prophets risen up. Right? First and foremost, we able to point this man out who he is. Right? Ain't no running no more, nigga. All right, and also the internet. Right? The internet itself will show you who the wicked of the earth is, man. Right? Don't nobody else have control over the food supply, the water supply, the air you breathe, right? So on and so forth, other than the so-called white man. All right. It's a couple of more scriptures I believe I can get into, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. So with that being said, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, and that I did prove the point, man. With that being said, Shalom. Yahweh Shema